Perhaps we just go around and say, what was the one single piece of advice you would share with the audience today?
It's about being prepared. It's going to happen, and shaping the business for a sale is absolutely key. You're going to have to do it, so be ready. And the fact that you do need great advice on board as well. I'm sure you won't mind me saying, Charles.
It will have to.
It's whatever you think you know about selling businesses. You probably know about 1/10 of what you need to know on your own. So get good advice as early as possible.
Get good advice as early as possible. But what you mustn't just have any illusions about, you go into the process of selling a business, it is a monumental distraction. And I'm speaking to someone who's probably bought about 15, 17 businesses. I mean, every time I'm still acutely embarrassed at the intrusion we make into the businesses. The accountants swarm all over you, the lawyers swarm all over you. We even send you off to the doctor to have embarrassing inspections. Have some really good advice, not just to prepare you for the business, but also to see you through the process, because so often businesses get damaged by the distraction people go through.
Be clear about what the work is. What is your work? Your work remains what your work was before anybody knocked on your door or before you began to sell the business. It's about your clients, it's about your creative work, it's about your reputation. And again, the seduction is that this starts to feel like the work. This starts to feel like the important bit, and it's not. It is, but it's not. And that's why having great advisors is particularly important, because they can do an awful lot of that much better than you ever could anyway, but it also means you keep your eye on the important thing.
When we sold, we said, right, Debbie, you will run the business, and Hugh, you will go and do the deal. Because if you both try and do it, you'll take, as you said, you take the eye off the business completely. And we didn't need the financial stuff, because Tristan is absolutely brilliant, and he was fantastic to hold our hand all the way through, and he'll do the financial stuff for you. You don't have to worry about the financial side. You actually have to run about all the stuff that these guys are talking about around the deal, and that's what I did with their advice. And you do need advice, because you can't do it yourself. There's stuff that you don't know. And Debbie continued to run the business and hardly got involved in the deal. And for about 3 months, 4 months, Tristan, I wasn't really involved in running the business, was I really at all? It was more just get the deal, sort the deal out. And that's how we split it. And it worked well.
Yeah, can't help but echo the excellent advice piece. But I guess examples of where that's excellent, you'll get lots of tips and tricks and tactics that if you're as ignorant as I was, that you simply would never have come across. So the kind of advice you receive might be about things like, making sure in a period just before you're absolutely at your peak that you do sell, because obviously over the next, for example, 3 years, you're going to be achieving growth and you'll get the best kind of rewards from that. Or, I mentioned generosity, but that's about generosity with your team. If you've got brilliant people around you, then get them on board for the sale on whatever scheme, an EMI scheme, a bonus scheme, whatever that might be. Put them in that boat with you and get them on that journey, because if you just suddenly keep it to maybe yourself or the co-founders or whoever those kind of 2 or 3 are, then the thing becomes far too insular and you're not sharing that ambition and that drive that you all need. So it's bits of kind of advice that are thrown in like that are so incredibly important that you simply wouldn't have known previously.